I'll just catch up on chat a little bit. Yeah, three quarters, two-thirds is more of a cash game c-bet size because people are very deep and you want to just bet bigger when there's deep stacks. But in sit and goes, you're normally shallow, like 30 big blinds, 50 big blinds. That's a good stack in a sit and go. So you don't have to c-bet three quarters basically. Take a look at your hand, MX screen. Oh yeah, man. I'll take a look at it. Okay, sorry, man. I forgot. We'll look at your hand first, MX screen. See if I can load up another instance of Universal. So I'll turn the music off, guys, so that I can put IrEgption's review on YouTube, because otherwise Twitch will mute the VOD. So what was the question? You had a extra information with this, MX screen. What does he actually represent on the turn, and what would you do there? Buy in 550 rebuy, no history on the guy. What does he represent on the turn, and what would I do here? Well, with no information, it's hard to know. This is your first mistake. I would not just check here. When you have queen high with a gut shot, no flush draw, I think you just want to win the pot now, represent that you have an ace or a strong draw, maybe something that he's going to be scared of this board if he has an 8. So you're going to get him to fold an 8 probably. I don't think he'd fold a jack, but he might get scared and end up folding by the river if you decide to continue bluffing. So I would definitely c-bet here. Ace high boards are very good to c-bet as the pre-flop aggressor because you're representing that you have an ace. So by checking, you're trying to say that you have a jack or a draw, but your hand isn't that strong, so you might as well just turn it into a bluff and say that you actually have an ace. Now you're saying that you have a jack, like a king jack, and he's saying he knows that you have king jack, and he's trying to push you off king jack. So that's what in my opinion, he just thinks that you're weak because you didn't c-bet, and he's trying to exploit you and trying to get you to fold. So what would I do here? I would have bet the flop and made the hand much easier to play. Now it's really tough because you're getting very, very good pot odds. It's only a click raise. So, I mean, you're getting insane odds. You have to call 320 and the pot's 1175, but your hand is terrible, and you expect him to, if he is bluffing, to just bluff the river. So I'd probably just fold the way that you played it, but I would just c-bet. I think it's way more profitable to just c-bet rather than check this board. So, I don't know what happened. I assume you just folded. Oh no, you didn't tell me, but yeah, doesn't really matter. I would fold here, MX screen. I was so emotionally invested in 5 big blinds. You wanted me to bust so that I could do your review. Oh. Oh, sorry for the spoilers, guys. My bad. Yeah, that was my bad. No bad comments? No, no. We're just looking for improvements. It was a late reg? Okay. So in sit and go, do you decrease your c-bet amount just like you would your pre-flop raise amount? Like it's always going to depend on the opponent and on the board, win by TKO, but like in general, c-bets in sit and goes are smaller than cash games in general. Same thing in tournaments. Like you don't see guys in the good players in multi-table tournaments c-betting 60%. They all c-bet like 40, 30, 50, just because you can get a good amount of pressure on people by betting smaller, because if they bust, they're out. In a cash game, if you bust, who cares? You just put more money in. So you need to bet bigger in cash games. Alright, so it's a late registration. $27. Is it a knockout? I don't remember. Let's have a look. Yeah, turbo knockout. Alright, so let's see what if we can find any leaks in the turbo knockout. We start with 20 big blinds. No, 10 big blinds. Bit of a gamble, but whatever. Ugh, here's the first mistake. So this is a fairly simple sit and go concept. So there's a lot of chips out there already. Calling 500 costs you 20% of your chips. So whenever you start speculating for that much of your stack, you have to. It's much better to just decide pre-flop whether you want to go all in or fold, because calling 20% to try and hit something, you're not going to hit often enough to make that call profitable. You, on average, will lose chips by just calling here. So it's just too much of your stack to call 500 to try and flop like a pair or a draw, even though your hand's very good. You just have to, with your whole range here, shove or fold. So the rule is, whenever you have 20 big blinds or less, facing a razor, it's generally shove or fold. There are exceptions, especially if you're in the big blind and it only costs you one big blind, then you can just call some hands. But generally, the rule is 20 big blinds or less, facing a razor, shove or fold only. Because there's enough money out there. Look, there's 1,000 chips out there already, and you only have 2,500. So if you do have a hand, you can just go all in. But this is not an all-in hand, because this guy's raising early position, his range is quite strong, so you're expecting to get called, and you're going to be behind. So I would just fold. Yeah, you just wasted 500 chips there, basically. Method's my old guild. Congrats on joining up, sir. Welcome, Method Quando. Thank you very much. Sick brag. Being in Method. Yeah, I was watching Method for a very long time, like back when they were playing in other early expansions, so it's a real honor to be in Method these days. Ace Queen, that's lucky. We get an Ace Queen. But very good, and we just go all in. Ace Queen again, just go all in. Less than 10 big blinds, 9 big blinds, all in. Enough money out there. Queen 10, good fold. 7-2, fold that. Fold this one. Threes. Okay, against a short stack limp, we have threes. Well, you have to think, is he going to fold? If he folds 1 out of 20 times, you go all in, because if he has some chance of folding, then there's enough money out there for you just to push and your hand is good enough. But I think even if he calls 100%, I mean, there's still a lot of money out there, and you don't mind flipping when you're this short and there's a lot of overlay from the blinds. There's 620 plus 150, that's 770 out there already. So that's, what's that, like 25%? 25% of your chips out there just from the blinds, which is huge. So even if this guy calls 100%, I think I would still shove. And you're not even risking your whole stack against him, you're only risking 1,370. So you'll still be alive with 6 big blinds if you lose. And maybe you're ahead, maybe he has ace-2 or ace-3, or pocket 2s. It's very possible. So I like your all-in a lot, and yep, he had a better hand, but I think your play is good. Yeah, very lucky, but that's fine. I'm trying to read the chat, guys, as well as doing this. I think the big blind was sitting out the Jack-9 suited. Yeah, it's still a fold. If you want to play the hand, shove all in. That's your only option. But, it's just not... I don't think you're going to get a lot of folds from the guy raising early position. And you wasn't representing ace on the turn side bluff shove after his min raise. Expected him to fold a lot, but he had ace-10. Really didn't expect him to play this weird line with ace-10. It is a weird line for him to take with ace-10, but he got maximum value out of you somehow, MX Crin. So it worked out for him, but he played it strange, but you didn't play it very well, man. Just c-bet. It's a WoW thing. Method is a WoW. It started out as a WoW guild, but this is not a WoW thing. This is a poker thing and an esports thing. So I guess I'll talk more about it once I finish the review. You guys haven't really been asking me any questions, and I want to talk about it, but I won't clog up the review with method talk. Guys in the chat, if you know more about it, you can educate the non-esports Twitch chat. Alright, so we definitely want to play this hand. Now the question is there more value in min-raising and then calling against aggressive players, like as a trap? I think I would probably just min-raise as a standard to get more value out of this hand, because ace-queen in late position is very strong, and it might look like you're trying to steal if you min-raise, and you can get them to reshove hands like ace-8, ace-7, king-queen, queen-jack even, and that's what you want. If you shove all in, what are they going to do with ace-7? They're just going to fold. But if you min-raise, maybe the big blind thinks he calls ace-7 and he stacks up off post-flop, or he reshoves all in, tries to bluff, and you call. So I think this hand for me is strong enough to use as an induce and to induce more action. So I would just min-raise. But shoving is not bad. I just think against most players you'll be getting a bit more value out of an induce. Yeah, this one's fine. Ace, it's the worst offsuit ace I would push for sure with 13 big blinds in middle position, but I think this is fine, a fine push. King Jack fold, Jack 6 fold, 10-2 fold. Yep, can't call there. Even though we're getting good odds, it costs us a lot of our stack, 800 chips, and our hand is quite terrible against both these players. They both have decent stacks, raising middle position, raising. It's 3x the big blind, which is usually stronger, and calling a 3x, which is also very strong. So your hand just is quite terrible against both those players. Fold that, fold that. Ugh. If I send my hand issues today, when to review? I can probably do it today, Padron. Gonna play some more games after this one, but it depends on how long it is, man. So email and we'll see. If not, I can do it on another day when you're in the chat. So we've got a guy raising early position, min raising, into a few short stacks. Like the big blind is short. Do you think he's gonna fold if he goes all in? I doubt it. So he has a hand that's at least good enough to call all in for 5,000 chips. So your king queen, to me, is just a fold. Because you have a decent stack, you have 12 big blinds, and reshoving king queen offsuit against a middle position raiser when he's pretty much committed against these two short stacks, he's not bluffing here, he has a hand. So, I mean, does he have queen 10? I really doubt it. Does he even have queen jack? I don't think so. I actually think king queen is probably the worst hand he can have. And against a lot of his range, you're just behind. Like, you're behind ace x, you're behind ace king, ace queen. A lot of pairs, you're still behind, but you might be flipping if you're lucky. I'm just not in love with this. Like, yep, this is probably the best case scenario for you, apart from flipping, that you still have live cards. So I would just fold that. You want to be tighter, repushing with 12 big blinds against middle position raisers. So I would repush there, like maybe 7s, ace 10 suited, or 8s, ace jack. I'm gonna giggle at final table bubble hands. I probably won't even realize it's the final table bubble, to be honest, because I don't know where the payouts are or anything. Problem with inducing is a recreational player is going to call while you're min raise and not connecting the flop is a problem. Yeah, but not necessarily. It just depends how. Yeah, I mean that can be a problem, and certainly Padron Nopta, if the blinds are very passive, then yes, shoving all in will be better. But if the blinds are unknowns or aggressive, then definitely you want to min raise. And it's also not so terrible to see a flop with ace queen, especially if you're a good player and you know how to play ace queen when you don't hit an ace or a queen, because you can like check flops and use ace queen high as showdown value and call bluffs with that hand. It's not like you're raising, you know, 10-9 and you can't win at the river with 10 high, but you can win with ace high. So there are profitable ways to play post flop with ace queen. So that's not so terrible. But I do see your concerns. Okay, we'll just fold this suited ace against another raise. Fold, fold, 9-8. Alright. It's speculative. You know, you don't have to make this play, but if you've been a little bit tight, maybe there are tight players, I don't mind this. I think it's acceptable, but certainly fold is fine as well. Value bet, good. Another value bet, because now we beat hands like sevens, and we beat other eights. Now, like ace 8, we're doing good, so we definitely want to bet call. Seems good to me. Pretty unlucky for that guy. I mean, unlucky for you as well. Lucky for you, I mean. What's going on? Alright. Getting lots of messages about the announcement on my Facebook and my Twitters. Why not? Good good job, Spasm. Good job, man. Alright, let's continue. If this is boring, guys, I won't be doing this for too long, but I do want to review this for IrEgption, long time viewer. Good all-in against the limp. When people limp the small blind, it's weak, so you want to attack against small blind limpers. And with 11 big blinds, you can just shove all in. There's enough money out there. You have an ace, which is also very, very good, blind versus blind. Good play. Yeah, like, I think you win money making this play, but I think that the better players should just min-raise. It does kind of depend on how aggressive these players are, but, like, you're risking a lot. You're risking a full 9,000, like 15 big blinds. It's a big shove. Yeah, so I think against aggressive players, this is probably the best line, but against passive players or tight players or unknown players, I just min raise, and then if they reshove, give them credit for having a good hand and we can just fold. If you play post flop, that's fine as well, you have position. So I don't hate that play, but I do think there are better ways of playing king 2 suited on the button with 15 big blinds effective. Wow, Spasm, sick brag. 86 lifetime. 86%, pretty good. I think I have around that ROI on stream in the $2 180 mans, because I've only played like 15 of them. Just fold 3-2 off. Ooh, ace king. Oh, nice squeeze spot for you. You want a 3-bet here. You don't want to play ace king out of position in a multi-way pot. So you have to 3-bet. You're fine getting it all in against this guy. You have to really think that if he had a strong hand, he would have 3-bet himself. So he's probably relatively weak, like king queen maybe, ace 10. So you should be ahead of this guy. You're a little worried about GC stars as well, but still, you have ace king. It's one of the best hands you can get. So you just got to get it in against both players. If they both go all in, you're still, like, you're fine. You're not that happy. You'd rather just go all in against one, but you can't pick and choose. You're going to be committed after 3-betting to going all in against both. And yeah, you just got to go with it. Let's look at sizing. So, against one player, out of position, my sizing would be somewhere around 3x, I think. So that would be 3,000 plus 1 plus 12, so 4,200 would be against one player out of position. But we're playing against two players, so that you have to add a bit more because there's more money in the pot. So I think you're adding more, but yeah, this sizing seems good to me. It seems good. I like it. You've got the right idea. Alright, time to flip. That's how it goes. Nice, good flip. Okay. Yep, I think you played that very well, Egyptian. Alright, so you got the right idea. You want to play your small blind, definitely. Um, we don't know anything about this guy, right? We don't know anything about him. It's the first hand we played. How did he play before? Like, he just fold, and now we're against him in the big blind. So I think my first play here would be to raise, because you can put a lot of pressure on his stack. He's sitting pretty comfortably. Now, if you know that he's a good regular or an aggressive player, then I like this limp play better, because a good aggressive player is going to reshove against your steal fairly wide. So you can use a limp stab, and take a lower risk line by just calling the blind and then betting any flop. That would be your play against an aggressive player, without having any history or any reads. So, but against an unknown player or a recreational player, a weak player, I definitely like raising as my standard line. Ugh. So we limp and he raises, but it's a very small raise. I mean, you got to call here because we're getting good odds. I would call again because you have an open ender and you can represent King X. So it's possible that he's scared of you having a king, he checks turn, and then you bluff the river and you win. That's another way of you winning this hand. Ugh, this is... I don't know about this one. It's a bit of a risk. I mean, there's a lot of money out there. I guess it's okay, because there's 5,000 out there. He only has 10,000 behind. If he doesn't have a king, he's probably folding, which is pretty good for you. Yeah, I don't mind this one. It is a bit of a risk, though, because you don't represent much. Like, you're saying that you have a king, and if you had a king, why would you go all in? You'd be more likely to just call. So against a thinking player, he might just see through this and call you looser. Like, he might call you with 9s and 8s and 7s. Ace 5 might call you, maybe. But yeah, I don't mind this play because there's a lot of money out there, and being aggressive with 4 high, but you have the extra equity if you get called. Yeah, I kind of like that. I really like this play. Like, my initial thought in this hand was to just check call and then try and wait for him to check turn and then bet river, because that's a safer play. It's lower risk. But looking at it again, I think there's enough chips in the pot for you to take this bluff, and you do have good fold equity because he just can't call you without a king. No, not only reviews. Just this game, then I'm going back to playing games. Isn't there an argument for that opener if it reopens, if he jams for ace king suited 3-bet? Isn't there the argument that with opener it reopens if he jams? I don't understand what you mean by that, Egyptian. I would still go all in with ace king preflop against 2 players with that much money out there. I don't know, maybe if that didn't answer your question, you'll have to just specify more what you mean. Yep, I'm playing guys after this game. It won't be too much longer. I'm just doing this review for Egyptian. I can do this for you as well. If you have something that you want me to review, you can email it to me and I will take a look at it. Okay, no opportunities in that spot. Definitely a raise here on the button. Good steal. Dry board. So there's 2 things you can do. You can just check and then use your ace 2 as showdown value, or you can c-bet because the board is very dry, and if he missed, he's just going to fold. So I would probably c-bet this more often without having reads. If I have a read that he's very aggressive and he doesn't like folding, then I would use this as a showdown value hand. But without reads, I will assume that he's going to play A, B, C, poker, fit or fold, and you just c-bet and you're going to win fairly often. Good sizing. See that, guys? Less than half pot. Very good on a dry board. It's a very good sizing. Alright, so you check call the dry flop. what does this mean? Like, he could have a 3, a 6, a jack, he could have ace high, he could have a draw. Does this improve you? You get a gut shot now. And there's a flush draw. And you block the nut flush. So, like, if the river is a diamond, you might be able to represent that you have the nut flush. But he's not folding a flush anyway. But it's unlikely that he has a flush draw, of course, because it would be a backdoor draw. I'm just trying to argue for barreling this guy. I think not, because like I don't think he's folding a 6. Like, if the card was higher than a 6 on the turn, maybe it was a 10 of diamonds, I would definitely think about barreling, because there's more draws that you can bluff on the river, and he might fold a 6. But when the turn is a 4, if he calls flop with the 6, he's probably calling turn as well. So I think I just check here, play it a bit safe. This really sucks, but it could definitely be a jack. I don't think you're ahead. And raising, like, you don't represent very much, so he might not believe you. So it's not worth the risk. Just a fold. Well played. So if opener who did 4-bet jams, I can rejam if other caller just flats. Oh yeah, exactly, of course. But I don't think he's folding anyway, Egyptian. So if the guy raising under the gun when you had ace king, if he reshoves and the button calls, the button's calling for half of his stack. So most people, when they put that much money in, they're not folding, even if you reshove. But yeah, that's a small side tidbit, you know, but you don't care. Even if he calls, who cares? Like, if he does fold, that's really, really good for you, but it doesn't change your decision at all. This is fine. You have a decent chip stack, so I don't mind making these speculative raises when you have a decent stack. But certainly you can just fold this, even with this stack, and if you're shorter, you don't want to make these raises. So you check back the top pair, weak kicker. I think this is okay. I like it. You're disguising your hand. You're disguising the fact that you have top pair. Your kicker's quite weak, so if he does happen to have a higher queen, you're going to lose less money. But you're more worried about getting extra value out of weaker hands by checking. Because if you bet he's short, he's probably just going to fold everything. But by checking, you maybe give him a chance of hitting a pair on the turn or a draw and stacking off. Definitely want to value bet now with the flush draw as well. And he check calls. Well, there might be some thin value here. In a cash game, I would say most people would say bet for value. In a tournament, I think it's debatable, because people are going to play much tighter, and like there's not as much value. So like, is he going to call you with a 5? I doubt it. So I'd probably just check. Even though I expect to have the best hand a lot, there's a chance that he has a king, or that he was slow playing like ace 2 or 6-7. So I think checking is the best play here. I just don't think there's enough thin value. Like, you're trying to get him to call and like a 5 or pocket 9s. I just really doubt he's going to call those hands. Yeah, I would have checked, but of course that's unlucky. Okay. Limp. Alright. Limping's pretty weak, but we have a bad hand, so we'll just see a free flop. That's fine. We missed, so we check fold. Good. Well played. Fold to a raise. Steal this hand. Good. You are committed against the short stack, but I think that's fine. Have to call here. Getting 3-1 pot odds, so anything you raise, you cannot fold against this guy. Anything. So if you do make this raise, you have to realize that you're risking a full 8,000 chips, or 7695 against the short stack. So I don't mind it with the 9-8. Yeah, but you just have to realize that you are committed against the short stack. Playing pretty well, Egyptian. A few mistakes, but nothing too serious. So a short stack min raises under the gun. This is very strong, very very strong. Your hand, like, he's not doing this with Queen Jack. He only has 15 big blinds, so he has to have a strong hand here because he's raising into a lot of people from first position. He just has you beat, man. If you want to play this, I mean, the only way that I can see to make this profitable is to 3-bet bluff and make it like 6,600 or something, and just hope that because you have 2 blockers, maybe he raise folds 9s or like ace jack because he's scared. But really, like, if he had ace jack, he would just shove all in my opinion. So like, you just have to fold here. You're just way behind his range. This is not good. Not good. You beat nothing. And he's not folding because he's very strong. So I expect to see a call from ace king, ace queen, pocket tens, jacks, something like that. Yep, you're very lucky that you're flipping in this spot. You got very, very lucky with that hand. Just fold, man. Just fold. Yeah, it's a terrible hand. We'll just give it up. Well done, Spasm. Good luck. The final table. Won't be too much longer, guys. There's a big lull in the hand history. Yep, don't have to raise that first position. Fold that. Fold that to the button. Fold that, seems fine. Fold, 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 fold. Yeah, I like this. Something that I've noticed is you tend to be raising larger in later stages. I would just stick to a min raise. Man, when the blinds get big, you don't need to make it any more than a min raise. There's just no reason for it. You're just wasting extra chips. Limp limp. Huh? What the fuck is going on? I guess this must be like the final table bubble. Even if it is, this is still terrible because by me BMW has you covered by 2x. So like, you're trying to bluff this guy off the pot, but you still have to play against a short stack, and he has you covered. So like, this makes no sense. Just fold, dude. There's no reason to do this play. You're not going to win money doing this. Like, you see, he's not folding to you because he has so many chips. There's no reason for him to believe you. And yeah, I like that shove with king queen suited. That's good. Definitely the best play with that many big blinds. Making the old min raise this time. It's fine. Good. All in. Well done. I like it. Hold Kayla. Good. I like it. Put the pressure on that guy. Good. Good small blind raise. This must be the final table bubble. I like king queen off apparently. Yeah, apparently you like that hand. This must be the final table bubble. Unless it's the final table or something. What's going on? We're 3-betting again. Well, now that we have him covered, it's a little better because we can put pressure on him, but it's just not a good 3-bet hand. If you want to make these bluff 3-bets, choose hands that have equity or blockers. Queen 3 off is just terrible. If he calls you, you have to play out of position with Queen 3 off. There's no way for you to win. It's very, very hard. So choose hands like 5-6 suited, 8-9 suited, 10-9 off, Ace-2 suited. Even like offsuit aces are fine because you have a blocker. Like 3-5 suited, that's much better to 3-bet bluff than Queen 3 off. Queen 3 off is just a terrible, terrible 3-bet bluff hand. Do not use this in your 3-bet bluff range. You can 3-bet bluff here, but just choose better hands. Like more, they don't have to be good hands, they just have to be hands that, I guess, have better equity post-flop. This is garbage. And your sizing, it's a little small. Look at the odds he's getting. 3-1 with position. What are you trying to... He's not going to fold anything with those odds. So your sizing's a little small. Bet. Now what? If this is me, I would bluff. But like, the pot is huge. It costs you a lot of your stack. You're very lucky that he's checking here. I cannot believe you win this hand. Like, that guy got absolutely wrecked. He played it terribly. So yeah, good job. Three betting under the gun for under the gun one looks strong. Yeah, you're right, but it's not a good situation for you to be three betting light because he's a chip leader, and even if you do look strong, I mean he has so many chips that he's not going to fold if he has a good hand, and he's raising early position, so already his range is stronger because he's raising early position. So already you're not going to get a lot of folds because he probably has a hand, and couple that with the fact that he has a lot of chips, he's definitely not folding pre-flop most of the time. So, dude, just fold. Yeah. Wait, what happened here? We just called a raise? Okay, fine. So, he checks back. We want to value bet this. I'd value bet against ace highs. Good sizing, well done. Now, alright. Well, you're not going to get him to fold anything better than your full house. I don't think he has a 3. Or, I don't think he raises 2s. So, like, the question is, can you get a call out of ace high? I think yes. So I like the bet, and I really like your sizing. I think you played this very, very well. Good job, man. I really like that hand. So this looks like the final table now. This, I think, is a much better 3-bet. We have a blocker. We're putting pressure on this guy who has 20 big blinds. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 people shorter than him. So I really like this play. I think sizing-wise, it's better than the last time you 3-bet out of position. But because you're out of position, you do need to make it bigger in general. So this is, I think, still a little small. I would maybe go for like 22,000. But this is a much better. This is the best 3-bet I've seen you make. Because of the situation in the hand. He's a mid stack. You have him covered. You know, there's other short stacks on the table, and you have a blocker. So I don't mind this. Bet sizing is not good though. You don't need to bet 30,000. If he shoves all in, like, the pot's going to be enormous. And you don't want to bet call with ace 9. So I would just put out a very small c-bet and then fold to an all-in. Make it 15,000. This to me is a bad sizing. Look at the odds. You're getting 4-1. And, yeah. His range is pretty strong. Does he have a flush draw? Can you call against a flush draw? I mean, I think you definitely can. So you put yourself into an awkward situation where you might actually have to call this because you've put in so much money. But you don't. I understand that you don't call because it's the final table and you don't want to give up that many chips, which is fine. But yeah, your sizings just need work, definitely. I don't mind the pre-flop play though. I think you have the right idea in that situation. I don't mind it. Fold that. Fold, 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 fold. I think the flop bet is fine because you're trying to get him to fold non-paired hands like ace king, ace queen, ace 10 suited, and small pairs he would fold as well, like 9s. He's going to be scared of the jack. So I don't mind the flop bet. I just think sizing. You don't need to bet 30,000 if you're planning on folding. Alright, so we decide to defend the 10-7 against the min raise. Yeah, like, I think there are ICM implications that you have to think about now, because you're on the final table and there's a bunch of short stacks and you have a mid stack more than 10 big blinds. There's a guy here with 5 big blinds, this guy has 8, this guy has less than you with 10, so there's 3 players shorter than you. You are getting very good odds, but your hand is terrible. He has position and the chip lead over you. So I would just give this up, mainly because of, you know, final table ICM implications of you playing this hand, and he's going to put a lot of pressure on you. So what will happen is he'll see that you're calling and, you know, you're not the short stack, so he's going to barrel you, and he's going to bet flop, bet turn, bet river. Are you going to call down with second pair? If you are capable of calling down with 7x, you know, third pair, then maybe you can make this play. But I mean, even if your plan is to do that, it's just a bit too crazy for me with these blinds. Nice flop, bet turn, good. You're very lucky that this guy is too passive. If this is me against you, I'd be just bet jam. What are you gonna do? You'll probably hit straight and then not fold, but, you know, good players will put a lot of pressure on you in that situation. So I would just fold pre-flop. Even against weak players, I would just fold pre-flop because it's not worth risking the 5,000 with that bad of a hand. Ace king, easy, bad luck to lose the flip. Fold that, fold, 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 fold. Fold. Oh, so there's more people joining, so we must be like final table bubble or something. Whatever, I mean the ICM still applies when we're this close to the final table. Ace queen, easy all in. Almost done, guys. Deuce 4, 8-5, 5-8, just fold. 4-7, just fold, good. Queen 2, fold, and king 4. Yeah, I think this is fine. I mean, it's a little loose, but I think in a turbo, look, everyone's quite short, so your 50,000 does really hurt this big blind. So I think you have good fold equity, pushing even with this stack of 8 big blinds. So I like this push. You get called twice. Ugh, that's a bit unexpected with the queen jack, but that's fine. Pretty bad luck. Chillin' Dude is now hosting you for 372 viewers. Wow! Chillin' Dude, my man. Thanks a lot for the host. Awesome to have you in the channel, man. Such a big fan of you. Welcome to all the new viewers. I'm just finishing up a review for IrEgption, a viewer. He cashed this $27 knockout tournament. We're doing a review, and I'm just finishing up now. We're going to start playing some more games, so welcome. Alright, so yeah, I think you played it pretty well, Egyptian. Pretty well. Certainly there's some mistakes, but overall your game's pretty solid. Alright guys, let's get back in the games.